Hi, I'm Bea Canasa. I'm Bachelor of Science Technology Communication Management student in Mindanao University of Science and Technology. I am going to share to you about the rhetoric of Aristotle. When we talk about the rhetoric of Aristotle, we talk about public communication moved from one person to many. Rhetoric is defined as the ability to see what is possibly persuasive in every given case. And rhetoric is the study of how writers and speakers use the words to influence an audience.
The rhetoric is the public mass communication theory. The theorist behind this public mass communication theory, which is the rhetoric, is Aristotle, the philosopher. Aristotle was born in a small Greek colony in Thrace called Stagira. His father was a physician and served the grandfather of Alexander the Great. Presumably, it was his father who taught him to take an interest in the details of natural life. He was Plato's prized student, even though he disagreed with him on many points. When Plato died, Aristotle stayed for a while with another student of Plato, who had made himself a dictator in northern Asia Minor. He married the dictator's daughter, Pythias. They moved to Lesbos, where Pythias died, giving birth to their only child, a daughter. Although he married again, his love for Pythias never died, and he requested that they be buried side by side. For 4 years, Aristotle served as the teacher of 13-year-old Alexander, son of Philip of Macedon. In 334, he returned to Athens and established his school of philosophy in a set of buildings called the Lyceum, from a name for Apollo, the shepherd. The beautiful grounds and covered walkways were conducive to leisurely walking discussions, so the students were known as the Peripatoi, covered walkways. There are three main components of rhetorical analysis. First is the speaker, the second is the speech, and the last is the audience. First is the speaker. A speaker at a meeting, for instance, a conference or other gathering, is a person who is making a speech or giving talk. The second is the speech. Is the ability to speak or the act of speaking. The last is the audience. At a play, for instance, film or public meeting, is the group of people watching or listening to it. Then let's go to the basic principles. Rhetoric is about persuasion, convincing audience that the speaker is probably right. As I watched the YouTube, Aristotle described persuasion as finding the availability means of persuasion. He said that rhetoric is a primary concern with persuasion. He said that the job of the rhetorician is to be able to identify what it takes to move an audience. Aristotle's assumption is any audience is persuadable, but not any audience is persuadable. In the same way, any audience is persuadable, but somehow the job of rhetoricians, they try to find the available means of persuasion. Aristotle said that the counterpart of the rhetoric is the dialectic. Dialectic is a people refer to the dialectic or dialectics of a situation when they are referring to way in which two very different forces or factors work together and they are resolved. There are three types of Aristotle described of rhetoric. First is the forensic, which is the courtroom, which is the rhetoric on the court, which like the argumentation. The second one is the political future policy. Attempts to influence legislators or voters who decide future policy. The last one is the ceremonial. Heaps praise or blames on another for the benefit of spectators. There are three kinds of proof. First is the logical, logos, line of arguments. Second is the ethical ethos, revealing of speaker's character. The last is the emotional, which is the pathos, the feeling drawn from listeners. First, let's discuss the logical proof. In logical proof, there is an enthymeme, moves from global principle to specific truth. For instance, major premise, minor premise, and conclusion. The major premise is God will reward non-violence. The minor premise, we are pursuing our dream non-violently. Then the conclusion here is God will grant us our dream. Example are used by the speaker to draw a final conclusion for specific cases. The second one is the ethical proof, revealing of speaker's character. The speaker must seem plausible as well as the argument being possible. High source credibility determined by perceived intelligence, practical wisdom, and shared values, which is the perceived intelligence. Virtuous character is a good or honest speaker. Goodwill is the speaker has the good intention for the audience. The third one is the emotional proof, the feeling drawn from the listeners. Pathos refers to the authors or the ability to pull at your heartstring and or entertain you, bring them to tears. For instance, a political who tells a story about a real woman who died of cancer because she had no health care.
Thank you for watching my video. I hope you learned from it.
You took your time with